What's good, YouTube? What's good? Welcome to another Friday Night Sports Talk. Today is September 29th. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Socrates Palmer Jr. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, brother. TGIF. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday, YouTube world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Friday night, every Friday night, we're usually here. If not, we'll jump on Saturday, but we try to make it, a regular. And we got a lot to talk about. It's a big weekend of sports. We always have football every Sunday. The football season's here. We can talk about the Thursday night game, but we got a big pay-per-view tomorrow in boxing. We got a big fight. We got undisputed versus undisputed. We got Jermell Charlo taking on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Hey, whenever Canelo Alvarez is on the calendar, it's a big night. He has his detractors, and some of it rightfully so. But if there is, the franchise of boxing, if boxing is, if we were to compare it to the other leagues, Canelo is the global face of boxing. No doubt about it. He's the biggest name, and that title, that mythical title, goes on the line, and of course his undisputed super middleweight belts go on the line against who I believe is a formidable opponent, despite the weight jump, in Jermell Charlo.
Yes, and I tend to agree with most of everything you said, except the fact that Canelo is the global superstar. He is the face of boxing, but you have to admit it's kind of fading. It's kind of fading, whereas there's some other guys in boxing right now that can kind of take the throne. Hey, can Jermell take the throne of the face of boxing if he gets this win tomorrow?
I don't think he'll take the throne of being the face of boxing, but I think he'll take the throne of the man who probably ended the Canelo dynasty, right? As far as him being the franchise player, we had the era of Pacquiao, we had the era of Mayweather, although they kind of paralleled each other. But obviously we had the De La Hoya era, the Roy Jones era, and we are in I would say the twilight of the Canelo era. Certainly the pay-per-view numbers are undisputable. The gates, he's done a lot, and he's 33 years of age. So there is some luster that has been lost on the franchise. Canelo Alvarez. He hasn't looked spectacular in a while.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, let me we got some people up in the building right now. Let me just salute everybody that's in here that's in the comments. But first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to TWT, the family, and anybody that's watching that may not comment. Thank you for coming through. Feel free to comment. Feel free to maybe jump on later, give your opinion. We always leave it open. People can come on and talk, about whatever topics we're talking about as well. William Old School, good looking out for coming through. Appreciate you. Salute to you, bro. My man DC, who is also another co-host of mine and also TWT family. He's busy right now. He's in here. Salute to you, D Free. He's gonna jump on later, especially when we do football. We do our football picks. Judah Ben, another one of my co-hosts. He's supposed to be on as well. Maybe he'll jump on later. He's over here already talking Mel by stoppage. We're gonna talk about it. Salute to you, Judah Ben. And yeah, and anybody else watching, salute. I see we got some people in the building. I see the views there. So yeah, salute to you guys. So yeah, I don't know if you want to go into the main event or you want to just jump on the undercard first and lead to the main event. I see Judah Ben already, coming in with the strong prediction and with the Mel by stoppage. We're going to talk about it.
I don't believe in burying the lead, So let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the fight that when people are tuning in, is to see that. I mean, it's a decent undercard. It's not great. I don't think we'll ever have a great undercard ever again. The days of Don King are long gone.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the main event.
Real quick, the undercard, not many big names, but there's some exciting matchups, though. I think the fights may be entertaining. The undercard looks like it could be very entertaining, but yeah, that's not many big names. We got some notable names, but not,
right.
big names.
I mean, like I said, it's a decent undercard. If without Canelo, it would be a great Showtime, Saturday night,
Okay.
right?
And speaking of the dude, let's go, my man. Judah is up in the building real quick. What's good, Judah?
What's goody? What's goody, my mans?
What's good?
Kid?
So as you probably heard Sock, he wants to lead off with the main event. And you already started it up. You said Mel by stoppage. And before Sock goes into it, since you went up and just already made your prediction, tell us why you think Mel's gonna win by stoppage.
It's like most of the time, like I just be talking shit. But
that's what we do.
What I will say though, like leading up to this fight, like starting from like this week, Mel has been looking a lot more confident, in his speech. Like he seemed a lot more poised, a lot more calm, and a lot of people is taking that the wrong way. A lot of people is taking it as he's scared or stuff like that. When you're scared of somebody, you're not calm. I mean, when you're scared of somebody, yeah, right. When you're scared of somebody, you're not calm. You know what I'm saying? When you're calm, when you poise, you're able to collect your thoughts and give like a complete full sentence. Because a lot of people, when they feel like they'll lose or this and that, you'll hear them, talking all over the place, giving all kind of, crazy, they saying all kind of crazy things. But as of leading up to the fight starting this week, to me, Mel seems like he's in a good mental state. He just seemed like he's ready to go, and I'm just as ready to see it. I wouldn't be upset, if Mel did lose or none of that. I mean, this is a win for all of us. This fight alone is a win for all of us. And then just to see whoever Canelo got on the on the list next, that's it just makes for a good fight. But Mel, you can arguably say Mel had the best run of undisputed within like the last 10 years. Since the past 10 years, Mel had the best run for undisputed. He knocked out everybody he faced. You can kind of argue that with Bud run at 140, but Bud's run at 140 is nothing compared to Mel's run at 154. Mel, he seemed like he seemed like he in a good mental state. He seemed like he in a good place, and he seemed like he ready to work. And like I said, I'm just as ready to see the outcome. But you can't sleep on Canelo either. Canelo, just because he had a bad outing against John Ryder and his couple previous fights, that don't mean he won't come prepared for Jermell. Canelo show up for the fights that make sense, that mean something. So every time will tell, we'll see. But as of my prediction, I got Mel. Whether it's stoppage or decision.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Stoppage is a big claim. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but that's a big claim when you say by stoppage.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I only say that based on Jermell's track record. You know what I'm saying? Jermell is a dangerous puncher. He can surprise you in many aspects. So I mean, it's like I just can't wait, man. Like to just to see, but I got Mel, regardless if it's stoppage or decision.
Okay. All right, hold on. Before we go to Sock, let me just go to William Old He says Mel has to keep his jab in Canelo's face and stay off the ropes and catch Canelo moving forward with power shots. And I think that uppercut is the difference maker.
Oh yeah,
that's a good point. Good point.
That's Canelo's best punch.
It is.
Charlo has a bunch of different tools. He's knocked people out with different types of shots. He's knocked somebody out with a jab. He's hurt somebody. He stopped somebody with an uppercut, I believe. So, but Canelo has a real good uppercut as well.
You do.
I see my man D Free is up here as well. Salute to you, D Free. Kiko, you wanna follow
on?
Kiko, you wanna follow up from what Judah said?
I mean, I think Judah Ben, when the fight was originally made, right? Well, first it was rumored he was going to fight Jermell, right? That was the original opponent, and people poo-pooed it. Oh, he's fighting Jermell. He hasn't fought in 2 years. Blah blah blah. And Jermell, with his outside the ring issues, cancels himself out. So in comes Jermell. Oh, he's fighting the guy that's jumping up 2 weight classes. Okay, now check it. From the time this fight was formally announced, when they were toe to toe, people said, "Wow, Jermell's a lot taller than Canelo. He probably walks around as heavy as Canelo." Canelo turned pro at 47, so maybe he's not the smaller man, right? Yeah, he's been fighting at the smaller weight classes. So little by little, people have been convincing themselves that the fight's more competitive than when it was originally announced. I said from the jump that the fight was a competitive and a very good fight. Maybe not the fight that we want to see. I think if everyone was to raise their hand, they'd probably say, oh, the best fight for Canelo is to fight Benavidez, right? Because he's the natural super middle. Canelo's been the super middle for a while, and he's the undisputed. That's the fight that everyone wanted to see. But I believe this fight is better than the fight against Jermell, who I believe he's not as hungry as his brother. I think he's got a lot of issues outside the ring. I think I've always felt that Jermell, between the two, has shown the more heart. I think he's got the better resume. And like I said earlier, he's got the height. I think he's a little bit less miles on the tires, despite the fact they're both 33 years of age. They have a lot of common things. They're both 33. They both had hand injuries to their left hand. Within the last 2 years. So it's funny, Canelo has a lot more fights, but Canelo he turned pro at they say 15 and a half, 16.
Around there, yeah.
In Mexico. A lot of those fights were probably not competitive, so he basically learned on the job, and then that was his amateur background. He learned on the job, and I've always felt it's a really good fight. I see Canelo is about a 4-1 favorite. You missed the Vegas, Tom, right?
Yeah, we're gonna bring up the odds shortly, but he's almost a 5-1, and then it moved because this morning they were slightly lower. So now more money it looks like is coming in on Canelo, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. I just want to get everybody's perspective before we go into the odds and stuff. So
I'm not gonna give. I can give my prediction. I still like Canelo in the fight for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think this is the first time we see Jermell on the big stage. I believe that's always a factor. Yes, Jermell's been a champion before. He's been on Showtime. He's main evented, but he's never been in a huge event like this. Now, people have said that the ticket sales are not as strong as before, and that happens, right? A lot of people feel Canelo's on the decline. I really wish this fight was in Houston instead of Las Vegas. I think it makes more sense. I think
it would have been better.
When Canelo fought James Kirkland many years ago, that was in Houston, right? In the Minute Maid. They could have had this fight where the Rockets play. I think it would have made more sense. Yeah. And Canelo would probably still have the home field advantage. So,
but it definitely would have been a bigger event, I think.
I think so. And I'm not gonna look. Vegas is the mecca for boxing, but I believe that the venues always used to mean something back in the day. When you just go on YouTube and you see the classic fights from the 80s, Caesar's Palace outdoor. It was cool when Miguel Cotto fought at Yankee Stadium. I was there. We've gotten away from the venue. I think I'm tired of Vegas in a sense. Yeah. But I understand why they do Vegas. The gambling and the comp rooms. I totally understand the business aspect of it, but that's as of right now, that's what I'm going to speak my piece on. I know we have another one of our comrades on the air, Mr.
my man D
Commander
Free.
himself.
Real quick, let me read a comment from William Oschool. The question is, does Mel's cardio stay the same with the extra weight because he is known for great cardio? If Mel's stoppage come, it's in the late rounds when Canelo slows down.
Excellent point.
That is an excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's noted, like you said, Canelo. From what I hear, Charlo does walk around about 185. So
He must.
I think he walks around about 185 pounds.
And Canelo looked really chubby when they
At the first pressing.
Yes, he looked really chubby, and you can tell
really
because Canelo had the big shirt.
Yeah,
he had the big shirt. He had the guavavera.
Yeah, so it looks like Canelo may have had to lose more weight than maybe Charlo did. Because Canelo could have been close to 200 pounds.
When I see Canelo's face, I see a lot. He did a lot of work in the sauna.
Mm-hmm.
That shrunken face. The cheekbone showing. That could be an indication. Or who else? What else? Who else? We don't know what he did to make the weight. So it certainly looks like it was like he crashed.
D Free, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, now because we hear the background noise. This was all right. We thought we were just stepped away. So
yeah. I'm a piggyback off of what Sock said. A lot of people pretty much had to convince themselves once this fight was made that it was a 50-50 fight or that Jermell Charlo had a chance in winning this fight. But like Shock also said, if you look at the two guys, they both the same age, and Canelo has roughly double the amount of fights that Charlo has, and that's a lot of wear and tear. And you can see that Canelo is starting to break down. He's wearing knee braces now in the ring. He's not moving as fluid as he did with his upper body movement. His upper body movement is a little more stiff now. It's not as fluid as it once was. He's taking a lot more shots now. And that's something that I noticed from Canelo. He didn't take as many shots earlier in his career as he is now, especially with the lesser opponents like a 40-year-old Triple G, John Ryder. Those guys back in the days, Canelo, they wouldn't stand a chance with Canelo. We saw what happened in the first Triple G fight. So I think Canelo is starting to break down. And now I hear people talk about the extra weight. Will Charlo's stamina still be there in the later rounds? You got to remember, Charlo, he fights at 54, but when he comes in on fight night, he's roughly around 165, 170. That's what he normally fights at on fight night. So I don't think he's going to rehydrate too much more than what he is. He came in at 167 3/4. I don't think he's going to rehydrate too much more than that because that's what he normally fights at. So I think the extra weight won't be a problem because that's what he's used to fighting at 170 pounds, 165 pounds. So if Charlo can somewhat keep Canelo in the center of the ring, I think that's his best chance of winning. Not to lay on the ropes like he did in the first Brian Castano fight, because that gives Canelo a stationary target. And the problem that Canelo has is he doesn't have very good footwork. And so Charlo has to give him different angles, not to move around like Caleb Plant did and burn yourself out, but give him different angles to make Canelo have to reset, similar to what Bivol did. Bivol kept a jab in his face and he gave him different angles. So Canelo had to keep resetting. And eventually Canelo ended up wearing down in the later rounds because his stamina wasn't there. And that's something else that I noticed. Ever since he got caught with the computer wall, Canelo's stamina has been going downhill. Now, he had stamina problem early in his career. Then, speculations that he was taking computer wall, then he got caught with the computer wall. And ever since then, his stamina has been back the way it was before he got caught. So Canelo stamina is not like it's been in the past before the computer wall. His stamina starts to show in the later rounds. So if Charlo can somehow imitate what Bivol did, I think he has a better chance of winning the fight because they don't. Bivol has better footwork than Charlo, but they fight a similar style. Like they both boxer punchers. They fight a similar style. But the thing is, I think because of the age that Charlo is, and I think Charlo learned a lot from the 2 losses with Tony Harrison and Brian Castano. I think Charlo is more focused. And I hear people say, oh, we don't see Charlo acting the way he normally acts. He looks nervous. I think Charlo is more focused than he is nervous. I think he knows what he got with Canelo Alvarez because they came from the same promotional company with De La Hoya, and they've been around each other earlier in their career. So he knows what Canelo does, and he's been watching Canelo all these years. His brother's been chasing Canelo, and he's been watching what Canelo's been doing. So I think he's focused because he knows what Canelo can do. I don't think he's nervous. I think he's just focused.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you for the most part.
Very good point, D.
Yeah, and I agree with most of everything you're saying. Nervousness. I really don't think he's nervous. The weigh-in, he looked good. He looked very confident. He, look at this paper. Look at this weigh-in compared to the Spence and Crawford weigh-in. The energy is much different, especially from Charlo. So I see a guy that's confident. I see a guy that's going in to win. A lot of people said, oh, he's, there's some people that say that he's going there for a check. He's
no, I don't think
long layoff. But, no. I don't think that's the case. I think he's coming in to win. And he looked good. He came in 167, right, under the limit. And like D said, I don't think he's going to go up much more in weight. I think he's going to be comfortable. And, one thing that points out to me is the work he's been doing with Joan Guzman, right? Like he's been working on his boxing and Joan Guzman's known for like the fast hands and good footwork and boxing. And he's been working with Joan Guzman. And I think that's something that they want to do with versus Canelo because Charlo hasn't been active since last May. And before that, he's had 2 fights. He had the Castano fight, which was a draw, which a lot of people thought Castano won. And it was scored a draw because, it was a very close fight. And then he came and avenged that fight and he stopped Castano. And it were 2 different Charlos. In that first Castano fight, I saw a Charlo that, still has the power, still can bang and punch, but he got hit a lot. And even with the rematch with Tony Harrison, he was getting hit a lot by Harrison. And I thought Harrison was winning, until he got careless. So we know Charlo has the power. My problem with Charlo is his defense and the amount of times he takes punches. And he can't do that with Canelo. His last fight against Castano, it looks like he worked on it because his defense was on point in that fight. And eventually, he hurt Castano and he finished him, I believe, in the 10th round. So my biggest concern with Charlo in this fight would be his defense. Other than that, I think this is a 50-50 fight. I don't think, what the odds have it is fair. I think the odds, have it as, a guy coming up 2 weight classes, fighting for a title, and that's why the odds are for what they are. I think the odds should be a lot closer. I think Canelo should be the favorite, but I think with the odds that I'm looking at now, which will show shortly, I think it's a little bit, it's too much,
name recognition,
real
right?
quick, what's up?
Is name recognition.
Yeah.
Who's the bigger brand?
Yeah. So Canelo's still on steroids. That's this way. Castano was good, but Charlo is the power and his endurance. Fair. Kui was good. Kui, thanks for coming through. So yeah, that's what I have on the fight. I'm not gonna make a prediction yet. What I will do is let me bring the odds to it. If you can't see it, I'll blow it up and I'll take everybody off the screen real quick so we can see it. So let me know you guys can still hear me.
Yep.
Okay,
cool. So what we have this change. Earlier today when I checked it, I saw Canelo at like minus 420 and Charlo plus 320, I believe. Now I see it at Canelo minus 475 and Charlo plus 350. And just for some of you guys that may not know what that means if you're going to bet on Canelo, you have to risk $475 just to win 100. But if you take Charlo and you risk $100, you'll win. You get the chance to win $350. So the odds here favor Canelo by a lot. I do not agree with the odds. And for a gambling man like me, I kind of like the odds because I like betting the underdog, especially if I feel like they have a shot. So plus 350. Now I have some other odds here as well, like which is the outcome. So Canelo by decision or technical decision is only minus 110, which is almost even. And then you have Canelo by knockout, which is plus 185. A draw, which is, it's very rare you see draws, but they do happen. So that's why the odds is much higher. If you bet on a draw, plus 2,000, right? Which could very well happen. Somebody, you put 100 on that, get 2,000. That's a sweet come up. Charlo by decision plus 550. That looks good. I mean, Charlo by decision, and then you have Charlo by knockout plus 1,100, which is what Judah will probably be taking because he said Charlo by.
He jumped out the window early.
He did jump out the window
early.
He did.
I got my parachute.
Now I like, me personally, I'm gonna tell you what I like, and then you guys can tell me what you like. I like taking 3 bets here. I like taking Charlo by decision and Charlo by knockout. As you know, in Canelo fights, right? Canelo, sometimes the fight hasn't even started, and he's probably up 4 rounds to zip, right? Right? Because that fight against Bivol, they gave Canelo the first 4 rounds, which was insane, and then eventually Bivol won the next 8 rounds, but that was nuts. So you have to think like Canelo's already up 4 rounds to nothing on the cards. What I'm gonna do here is I like to take Charlo by decision and Charlo by knockout, 100 each, and also take Canelo by decision because I don't think Canelo can stop Charlo. I think it can happen, but I think this fight is going to most likely to me is going to go to a decision. I don't think anybody gets stopped, but I like taking the odds just in case. So in this scenario with those 3 bets, I look to gain if Charlo wins by either or, and if somehow Canelo wins by decision, I'm only losing what? $100. So if I risk $310 for those 3 bets, the most I could lose is $100 if Canelo doesn't win by knockout and if it's not a draw, right? Which I don't think is happening. So that's what I'm going to bet personally. I'm taking Canelo by decision. I'm taking Charlo by knockout and Charlo by decision, risking 310 to win maybe 1,100 or minus 5 or plus 550, minus obviously the 2 other bets I would lose, and it'll still be a plus either way.
Tom, this is one of the rare occasions that it's a fun fight to bet. You could if you listen to Triple T, Trash Talking Tom, he's giving game. He's spitting game, and if you're behind on some bills, this could be the night.
Nico, are you gonna looking to take anything, or you're just
you know what? Like I have to stick to my guns. I'm sticking with Canelo. So now you said you don't think Canelo could stop Charlo.
I think it's capable. It can happen.
It can happen.
Right? I personally don't see it happen. I personally don't see a stoppage in general. I just like the odds that Charlo can stop Canelo because, Charlo does have great power, and Canelo took a lot of shots by Ryder, right? So
he did. The one thing I've never seen Canelo's knees buckle, ever. We've never. I mean, he's faced big punches, albeit at the right time.
Triple G I think Triple G buckled him up once, like in one of the fights.
He's got a hell of a chin. I mean, Canelo still doesn't know how to cut off the ring after all these years, but he's never been hurt. He's durable. I mean, I think this fight, Jermell has to fight discipline. He has to put his ego in the back pocket. I think he could win as long as he doesn't compromise Canelo. Do what you do best. And I know he's got he probably feels, hey, Canelo's the puncher, air quotes. Well, guess what? I could punch too. He's got to put his ego in his back pocket, because if you stand and trade with Canelo, I think he gets stopped. So I'm picking Canelo. I would probably, gun to my head, I'm picking Canelo by decision, because I think the first time Jermell feels Canelo's power, he may get a little cautious. That's just how something's telling me that.
But let me ask you something, and the only reason I'm asking you this and I'm stopping you here is because Joan Guzman. I think you've worked. You spoken to him a few times, I believe. I don't know if you worked with him. Joan Guzman's a good boxer and everything. Mm-hmm. You don't think working with Joan Guzman is a big help for Charlo as far as his footwork and his boxing skills?
It's a big help because they've been together for about a year. So Joan fought in a very unorthodox style. It was almost, he had his own style. Going back from the amateur games. Joan Guzman was a tremendous athlete. I don't know if Jermell's the same type of athlete. I believe that they know that they, like what I said, they can't stand toe to toe with Canelo. I think there's going to be a lot of movement. I think a lot of part of the reason that the fight is closer than what the general public thinks is because Canelo's not the same Canelo. We've seen the loss to Bivol. He wasn't great against Ryder. He had I think it was a meniscus surgery on his knee. He's an old 33. And I think that has leveled the playing field. I think Joan is a good addition to the camp. Joan is a guy with a lot of energy. I don't think he's necessarily going to have Jermell fight the way he fought, but he's going to have him loose, and I think that's a key to fighting Canelo. You got to make Canelo, keep him off balance, have him reset, because like I said, Canelo has yet to show me that he knows how to cut off the ring.
Okay. All right, real quick before we're going to go to D Free next if he's there, and then we'll end with Judah since Judah started off before. William Oschool says Canelo has the side to side movement. If Charlo times that movement with a side swing uppercut and uses Canelo's momentum against him, Canelo hits the canvas. That would be my plan of attack. I like that. I mean, Canelo's more known for his upper body movement, right? He don't have the best feet in the world, right? His footwork is sloppy. His defense is from his upper body movement, right? So, I see a lot of things maybe playing out. It's a matter of can Jermell get Canelo's respect? Like, can he hurt Canelo and make Canelo think twice about doing things? You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
D Free, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead. You go. Anything you're looking to take, or any prediction, or any of the odds you like here?
I like Charlo by decision. I don't think neither one of these guys get knocked out. I like Charlo by decision. And I also like the draw. I like Charlo by decision. I like the draw. Because and the reason why I say I like the draw is because I can see Charlo coming out here and actually beating Canelo, but they're making it a draw to have a second fight. Because Canelo does have a 3-fight deal with PBC. Damn. And that can be one of those fights on that 3-fight deal. Mm-hmm. Either Charlo beats him and they have a rematch, or it's a draw and they have a rematch. Oh, wow. I could see that happening.
Wow, you made me add another 100 to this. Well, I could bet small. I could put like 50 on it and get 1,000.
I mean, that could be Canelo's 3-fight deal, with the same dance partner.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shit. Well said, D Free. Well said. But your prediction, you didn't make a prediction. That's what you would bet. But you're predicting Charlo by decision, I thought. That's.
I've been saying I think Canelo is going to edge it out only because of the politics. I think they want Canelo to win, but I think after what I saw at the weigh-in, I think Charlo might win. I think he might win.
I really like the energy Charlo had at the weigh-in. That was huge for me, man. I really, they were nice guy the whole way, and I think they still were respectful and everything. But I really liked the press conference. The energy of Charlo was really good too. I really liked it. He looked loose. He didn't look dry. I mean, Kiko, did you see the weigh-in?
I only saw the still picture. I didn't see the live.
Okay.
But okay, if you were to ask Showtime and Al Heyman, what's the best business move? Canelo winning, right? We keep the gravy train rolling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me put my Alex Jones conspiracy hat on. Shout out to InfoWars. Is Canelo Terence Crawford a bigger fight than Canelo Charlo?
YouTube also. I mean, on Facebook too.
Hold on.
Hello.
Oh, he got muted.
Yeah, flash knockdown.
I think he had to go. I think he was talking somewhere else. Judah, you want to add anything?
Terence Crawford and Canelo.
To the prediction.
Yeah, to the prediction. You like anything you might want to bet on?
Nah, I probably won't bet on this one.
Okay.
But I'm gonna still stick with what I said earlier. I'm gonna say Mel by stoppage.
Mel by stoppage.
Dog, you're getting a plus 1100.
That's that. Yeah. Even if you don't put 100 on it, you put 50. You're getting 550 for 50. That's good money. But 100, I'm like I said, I'm gonna play with fire, and I'm gonna risk 310 on 3 different scenarios, and hope that the fight doesn't end in a draw, and hope Canelo doesn't win by knockout. So, but honestly, my prediction, that's not even my prediction. This is what I'm betting and what I'm hoping for. And I can see a lot of different scenarios in this fight. I can see the draw happening now after D. Freed mentioned it, and with the trilogy happening, right? But I'm gonna predict that Canelo wins like a controversial split decision. That's my prediction. But I hope I'm wrong, because I'm going to be betting Charlo by decision and Charlo by knockout. So hopefully Charlo can do something and win me some bread. So now D. Freed seems a little busy. Let me take this off the screen real quick. And
now Canelo's normally a slow starter. Do you think that could hurt him?
It's possible. Because Mel is known to, get active early.
Yes, that's exactly why I brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo, just from what I've noticed, I would say the last 4 or 5 years, Canelo fights almost like a lazy fighter now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He fights like a lazy fighter.
It's like now all he tend to go for are the heavy punches.
That's it.
Yeah.
The guy that's the puncher becomes lazy subconsciously.
Yeah.
I've heard that for a long time, and that's what I see from Canelo. He's, and I wonder if, at this point you can't do anything now, but if Canelo needs a new voice in his ear, right? I'm sure he trains himself. Let's face it. I think he's been with the Reynoso since day one. I don't know how much, obviously he respects them. They're still together. He's very loyal to them, which is a cool thing, right? But I think Canelo fights like a lazy fighter. And I think that's part of his demise, because it's not like he hasn't been in any Arturo Gatti type of wars, He's been in tough fights, but I think it's because he isn't working for the knockout. I think I think he's fighting like a lazy guy. What are your thoughts? And you agree with me, right, D? Anyone else?
I agree with you there.
I agree.
I agree. I agree with that, because that's similar to what Deontay Wilder said. He fell in love with his right hand because he was knocking everybody out, and you tend to do that when you have power and it's being done so easily, because Canelo was picking the fights that he wanted to fight and pretty much getting the paydays that he wanted. So when you're pretty much walking through these guys, you tend to forget that you got to work hard when you're facing these top competition because you're so used to just walking through these guys. And I was always told this by one of my football trainers. If you do anything continuously for 2 weeks, it becomes a habit.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what he's doing. He's been doing the same thing over and over again. Now it's becoming a habit, and he got to retrain himself all over again. But when you're used to doing something, you tend to revert back to that when things start to get hard on you. When you find yourself in trouble, you tend to revert back to what you normally do. So I can see him being lazy because he fell in love with stopping these guys, and now he's at the point where he's not stopping these guys because, let's be honest, 4 or 5 years ago, he would have stopped John Ryder. John Ryder took him 12 rounds. So
right, he dropped him. He dropped him. He couldn't finish him.
Yeah, he dropped him, but I'm just saying, 5 years ago, Canelo would have stopped him. John Ryder wouldn't have made it 12 rounds with Canelo 5 years ago. And we got to remember, Canelo hasn't fought nobody that was a 168-pound fighter except for Caleb Plant. All these other guys came from other weight classes. So, I mean, I can see him being lazy.
Yeah. So, and, I mean, in the Caleb Plant fight, a lot of people, make the argument he gave away, the early part of that fight just because he felt eventually, he would stop him, So I wonder if he's going to give up, if he has the same strategy, like you said, Charlo has always shown to have that little extra gear, and Canelo hasn't in the last, let's say, trying to think, the last time he really closed the show,
Plant probably he stopped Plant.
Yeah.
In what round?
11.
Was
11.
it 11? Okay.
But the Plant, I would say like by round 8. I think
it was the 10th, Tommy.
Yeah, I think it was earlier. Yeah.
He has zero fear of Caleb Plant, which is why I think he fought the way he fought. He has zero fear of Caleb Plant's punching power.
And then also that little altercation they had at the weigh-in too. That added fuel to the fire.
Yeah. I think with Jermell there is a little trepidation. I think that it's going to be an interesting first 3 rounds. I think Canelo cannot afford to start slow. Because every fighter by nature, you've never been in the ring with this man, right? So you're gonna be cautious. So the first 3 or 4 rounds, I think, are gonna be telling. I think Jermell is gonna find out from himself. Does he belong in there? And I think Canelo has to know that in the back of his head. He cannot give away the first 5 rounds. He's gonna have to start fast.
Yeah, and I think it all comes to what we were saying earlier. I think obviously he didn't respect Plant's power or punching power, but Charlo punches a lot harder than Plant. I mean, we assume he punches. I never felt a punch from either of them, but
it's a crispier punch.
Yeah.
A pound for pound punch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, ask Anthony Durrell how hard Caleb Plant punched.
And that was a perfect shot, and I was there, and I saw that was. Nobody believed it. Everybody was in shock. And what's funny about that fight, and that was almost a year ago from today, it was in October. What's funny about that they were booing. They were booing that fight because there was a lot of clinches, and they would both get thrown on the floor. It was a sloppy fight, and then all of a sudden, down goes Durrell. We were just like, and everybody was just shocked. Everybody like with their mouths open, pause, just like in shock, right? So, yeah, but I think if Charlo can earn that respect from Canelo, I think we're gonna have a very, very good fight. And I would love to see what Canelo does also. Like, it's not all about, we know what Canelo does and we know what Charlo does. We never seen Canelo go to plan B or plan C, really, right? I want to see maybe what happens when he gets hurt and maybe get, his knees buckle, right? What is he gonna do? How is he gonna react? So
And Canelo, I mean, he's got ears. He knows what the critics are saying.
Yeah,
that he's not the same. I mean, let's say he's made over. I'm just guessing. He's made over $300 million in his career. He's got about 4 kids, right? He's making cameos in movies. He's playing golf with Steph Curry and Tiger Woods. I mean,
he getting drunk.
He's threatening mariachi singers at his daughter's birthday parties. Like Canelo's living good.
Yeah. He really is.
And he did. And Jermell's been living good too, but not that same type of good.
Nah, not yet. At least. I mean, if he wins, he may get up there. And Canelo did say that his hand was hurt in the Ryder fight. That's why he couldn't finish him.
Well, he did.
So,
he did.
Yeah, he
did. He don't.
So I hope I'm hoping everybody's 100% healthy as they say they are. Hopefully we don't hear nothing after the fight. Oh, my hand started hurting again, because both guys are coming off an injury.
Right.
What another thing that scares me? Remember, Charlo's on a longer layoff, right?
Rust, yes.
Ring rust. So I think that's where Joan Guzman comes into play. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, I'm excited. Big fight. I think we're gonna get an exciting fight. I think we're gonna get a crazy ending to the fight, whether it's a knockout stoppage. I think we're going to get a good fight. I mean, we had some big events this year, but we haven't really had like that fight of the year type fight, and I think this could be it. I think this could be a fight of the year type fight.
I didn't realize they had the one common opponent.
Trout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And both of them knocked Trout down, except that Charlo knocked Trout twice. Trout went down twice.
I think, but it was like a majority decision, right?
It wasn't. I think it was a UD, but he got knocked down twice. I'd be surprised if it wasn't a UD.
He had fought him, I think, a couple of years after Canelo.
Canelo knocked him down one time. No, but Trout fought Canelo first.
Yeah, Trout fought Canelo like 2012.
Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what was a big factor of that fight was that opening scoring changed the way Trout fought. And that's why he ran into something, because I believe Trout got knocked down late in the fight after the open scoring where they had Canelo up. Canelo up big.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that was an open scoring fight. And they announced, Canelo was up, and I think Trout, stepped on the gas and he got caught with something, and that's why he got dropped. And that was a close fight. But the open scoring, I think the open scoring is what messed up the fight, in my opinion.
I think that was right after the Lara fight. I don't know if it was right after or might have been in between, but it was in that. It was when
he fought Lara before he fought Trout, I believe. I'll look it up now to be sure.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But and let me go to the scorecards, because that fight was close, but they had Canelo up, and then the knockdown obviously confirmed everything. No, he fought Trout before Lara. Wow, he fought Trout before Lara. Trout was down in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and I think the open scoring was every 3 rounds, I think it was. So maybe after the 6th round, that's where he came out, down in the scorecards. But I think that played a factor to the fight.
Canelo beat Trout. Remember, Trout was fucking everybody up back then. He was whooping on everybody. And Canelo came in.
He just beat I think he just beat Cotto, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so there are 2 different versions of Trout. Obviously, Canelo, you would say, fought the better version of Trout, but the open scoring, in my opinion, took away from it. And then Charlo fought, and a little bit older Trout, and he knocked him down twice. So, but yeah, we'll see. So that's the main event for tomorrow. You guys want to talk about the undercard? The undercard. Sox says it's not a big undercard. He's right.
It's not a big undercard.
No, you said it's. I said
it's not a great undercard.
Okay, all right. Not a.
How many Hall of Famers are fighting on the undercard, Tom? Like, this isn't DKP back in the day. Okay, my man. Okay, it's good. Let's go on the wife beater. Let's go get a couple of push-ups before he came on the screen.
I was calling the BKFC fight card
was
I
tonight.
was doing that when y'all came on. It was the last fight of the night, so I was doing that when y'all came on. That's why y'all heard the background.
Oh,
I was doing 2 streams at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. I like big heads. Look, Don King back in the day, we had Chavez, Terry Norris, Julian Jackson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be in Canastota tomorrow?
Nobody. I mean, there may be a young star that could come up and be somebody. You know, Jesus Ramos is undefeated. He's a young guy.
Garcia, right?
You know,
Mhm.
huh?
We got
Elijah
Carmel.
Garcia.
Carmel Moden.
Yeah, Carnell's fighting tomorrow. Yep, his debut, and he's fighting a guy that's 4-0. So I mean, we're gonna see how Carnell look. I mean, he's been getting all his praise of what he's been doing in the amateurs. So
Yeah,
we want to see.
But he's not going to be. He's not going to be on a pay-per-view card. He's going to be on. You know.
No, I think he's going to be on the prelims.
The prelims, yeah. Along with Frank Sanchez is fighting on the prelims.
Yeah.
And Frank, that's funny as hell. Frank Sanchez went from headlining a card to fighting on the prelims.
Yeah, I don't understand
what happened there, right?
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
And is he? I'm assuming he's still with Reynoso, right? That's why he's there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
What happened? Now it's funny because I think a great fight is Sanchez and what's his name from Top Rank.
Big Baby.
Big Baby?
Yeah.
That's
a good fight.
That's a great fight.
That's a good fight.
That's a great fight.
You got Frank in that one? Big Baby be saying some crazy things.
What I will say is the last couple of fights that I've seen from Big Baby, he's been lacking in defense. He's been getting hit with shots that if it was somebody that was actually a puncher, he might be sitting on the ground. He might be sitting on the ground because I saw Charles Martin catching with some big shots, and I saw the other guy that he fought catching with some big shots.
The fight before that, I think.
Yeah, the fight right before that.
The Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. And
you know what else? You know what else is a great fight for Big Baby? Jermaine Franklin. Mm-hmm. That would be a hell of a fight.
I think Top Rank is taking it easy with him. I mean, I think he's going to get into a big fight eventually. Hopefully 2024. But I mean, he says he doesn't want to fight too long. So,
right.
Well, right now he's saying he's fighting because his brother is locked up. He's trying to get his brother out of jail. So he's fighting to get his brother out of jail. So, I mean, I like when I hear fighters talk like that, or anybody in any sport, when I hear them talk like that, I know it's not long before they be gone because their head is not in the game for what it's supposed to be in it. They just trying to make some money. So I mean, I don't see him. One or two things going to happen. Either he's not going to fight long, or he's going to end up getting stopped badly because his head is not in the game for the right reason. He's just trying to get some money.
Yeah. Well, the undercard that's going to be on the pay-per-view, we got Elijah Garcia, 15-0, taking on Jose Armando Resendiz, who's 14-1. Jose Armando is the guy that beat Jarrett Hurd and gave him that ugly lip. Was it the lip that was hangling or something? And he stopped Jarrett Hurd. And Elijah Garcia is a guy that, he's undefeated. They're kind of building him. So this looks to be kind of an exciting fight.
Elijah Garcia can fight.
Yeah, he's a top prospect. He's 12 KOs.
The guy's fighting is very awkward.
Yeah, he's a little awkward.
He reminds me of Salito.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. He may make it ugly for the prospect.
Yeah, he could. I mean, and he's off a big win, right? So he beat a former champion.
Had to dip into my little boy's goldfish stash. You know about that. You won't miss it.
Then the other fight we have Yordanis Ugas taking on Mario Barrios. That's an interesting fight.
Yeah. Crossroads.
I really don't know who's gonna win that fight.
Crossroads, the classic Crossroads fight.
Yo, at first, I was saying I had Barrios, but being that Keith Thurman beat Barrios, I got Ugas.
Yeah,
It seems
I
like
mean, I can see that because
he got way
Keith
more
Thurman,
experience. He come from that Cuban background.
yeah,
So,
and Keith Thurman came off a 2.5 year layoff, and he still was able to beat Barrios.
yeah. I think
Facts.
Barrios they're just using him as like kind of like, as a name and a stepping stone guy. Like, they put him against Tank, right? He looked decent against Tank until Tank stopped him. Then Thurman coming off the layoff, and then Thurman beat him unanimous decision, right? So now here comes Ugas. Ugas, just coming off the Spence loss, you're right. With the eye, this is his first fight back. I think Barrios is there to lose to Ugas, but can Ugas capitalize and win? Right.
I think see the thing is with Ugas, what I noticed from Ugas is he doesn't have great power, but he has great boxing ability.
Mm-hmm.
He can box. Now I don't know if he will be able to box well enough to keep Barrios at bay, because Barrios can punch a little bit. He's not a real big puncher, but he got decent power.
Yeah.
And Barrios is what, like almost 6 foot tall. I think he's like 5'11", 6 foot. So Barrios is the bigger fighter, and I mean it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
I'm a favorite Ugas because he's the craftier veteran, and he's been in there with the bigger names, and so I don't think that Barrios really pose a threat that he hasn't faced.
Yeah.
Because he's been in there with Sean Porter, he's been in there with Earl Spence,
right.
a couple of other big name guys he's been in there with, and so I think Ugas has a little more left in the tank. I don't think Barrios is going to be the deciding factor because I mean if Ugas lose to Barrios, it's pretty much the end of his career.
Yeah.
But I don't think Barrios is the deciding factor on his career.
Now, Ugas has made a couple of big paydays back to back. And Cuban fighters traditionally, once they get paid, it's not the same hunger.
Mm.
How old is Ugas? We don't
Ugas
know.
Is like Ugas,
we don't know.
We don't know for a fact, but I wanna say Ugas is probably in his mid-30s. Just from looking at him, I want to say he's probably in his mid-30s.
I'm picking Barrios.
You're picking Barrios?
Ugas has gotten paid, and I think he's older. And not that I think Barrios is great, but I think he's got a little bit more mileage left. I'm picking Barrios.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his age. I don't see it here.
You won't see. Is the person with the whiteout?
No, I actually talked to somebody. I talked to somebody on Skywalker page who's from Cuba, and he said when they come over here, they write their age on their birth certificate in pencil, and you can give those individuals whatever money you want to make your age whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's because we was talking about Frank Sanchez, and he was like, Frank Sanchez is not 29 years old.
Nah, there's no way.
He's
How
not
many Luis
29.
Ortiz is?
He was like, no. He's like, Frank Sanchez is not 29. He said, I know people that know. He said, I know people that know Frank Sanchez personally. He's not 29.
Right.
And Ortiz, like you said, Luis Ortiz, how old do you think he is?
The super.
Oh. Hold up. Frank Sanchez look like he's older than Luis Ortiz.
The super.
The super. He look like the super. I mean,
it does look like the super of some building over here.
Yeah.
Yo, you're so fucked up. But it's true though.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get him on the show too.
Yeah, I'm picking Ugas to win, but I think Barrios has some pop. He'll probably try to go for the eye early and see what Ugas can take in this fight. But I think Ugas should beat this guy. I say Ugas will win unanimous decision for Ugas. Ugas has too much experience. You know, he can box. He's been in there. You forgot he was in Pacquiao was another fight.
Pacquiao.
Porter, Delorme, that was a good fight. They both got knockdowns in that fight, I believe. So, you know, I got Ugas. But it's an interesting fight, and it's a fight that both of them need, right? Both of them fought at lower weights. This is I believe this is the second fight for Barrios. No, third fight for Barrios at 147. Barrios got to win his last fight. He fought the guy that he didn't beat. I thought he beat Broner, but he got the loss against Broner. That guy Santiago, he beat Santiago in his last
from
fight.
Connecticut.
Huh?
He's the guy from Connecticut.
I know he's Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's from Connecticut. I know his last name is Santiago. He got a win versus him, and that was the guy that fought Broner like a couple years ago, I believe. And
that's the guy that Antoine stopped. The only person that stopped him.
Yeah, Antoine stopped him. Yeah. So yeah, and then the co-main event is Jesus Alexander Ramos taking on who's 20-0 with 16 KOs, taking on Erickson Lubin, 25-2 with 18 KOs, 2 losses. He was stopped both times in his 2 losses. It's an interesting fight, and it's a much needed fight for Lubin, fighting this guy Ramos, who I think is a very good fighter. I'll start with Judah because we spoke about this fight earlier today on the phone.
With this fight, I'm going into it now. I'm kind of leaning more towards Jesus Ramos.
Okay. You're changing your pick because you had Lubin before.
Yeah, I know. I did have Lubin earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm not sleeping on Lubin at all, though. Lubin he can still shock the hell out of all of us.
Yeah.
Because Lubin still got some pop.
Yep.
So you can never count Lubin all the way out. Lubin is still, a top puncher at 154 still. Because even when he fought Fundora, when Fundora was beating his ass, he still knocked Fundora down in the 7th round.
Something like that. And he hurt
6 or
Fundora.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
So that showed me his power can translate kind of in the late rounds. So I can't totally count Lubin out, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards Jesus Ramos though.
Yeah. Did Lubin stop Rosario? He beat Rosario, right? But did he stop Rosario?
Yeah, he stopped him. Yeah,
he stopped Rosario.
He stopped him. Yeah.
Rosario's a solid fighter. I mean,
yeah,
he's not a bum. So, yeah, Lubin is good. I don't really know who to pick in this fight, to be honest. Lubin, they both look good at the weigh-in. I saw the weigh-in today. They both look good. I don't really know much about Ramos. I know they're building him up. But a gun to my head, I'd probably pick Ramos with a late stoppage. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lubin wins.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this: Jesus Ramos, that man is a problem at 54.
Okay,
he's a problem at 54. Like a lot of people look at Jesus Ramos and they look at his power, but if you pay attention to the Joey Spencer fight and the fight before that, Jesus Ramos can box. He can box. And the one thing that a lot of people were saying was Lubin is going to outbox Jesus Ramos. I don't think he's going to outbox him. I think he can outbox him. I don't think he's going to outbox him because a lot of people don't look at Jesus Ramos and think that he can box. They just look at the power. So I think Lubin might fall into that trap because the one thing that I see from Lubin, he always tends to fight the other fighter's fight instead of fighting his fight.
Exactly.
He always fall into that trap and fighting their fight. And so with Jesus Ramos wants you to do what Spencer did, go for the knockout shot. And he's going to counter you. That's what he did to Spencer. He kept countering him. Every time Spencer would throw the knockout shot, Jesus Ramos would move and catch him with a 2-piece. And he would drop him. So I got Jesus Ramos by late round stoppage. And another thing with Lubin, and a lot of people say, no, that's not true, this, and that. Lubin has a suspect chin. I done seen this man drop multiple times from guys that doesn't have the power of a Jesus Ramos. And if Fandor could drop, I know Fandor don't have the power of Jesus Ramos. If Fandor could drop Lubin, I know Jesus Ramos can stop Lubin, because one thing about Jesus Ramos, when he gets you hurt, he don't let off the gas. He gets like David Benavidez when he gets you hurt. He start putting on more pressure and throwing more punches once he gets you hurt, and he has a big gas tank. He doesn't get tired. So I got Jesus Ramos with a late round stoppage, probably 9 or 10.
Well said.
I'm leaning Ramos also. I think Erickson, that was a beating. I mean, he showed a lot of heart in that Pandora fight, but that was a beating he took. And I think that there's going to be some residual effects. I think Ramos is a fresher fighter, confidence through the roof. I'm picking Ramos round 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not basing off of the Spencer fight, because I thought Spencer was a fraud anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was.
William Old School says, I'm picking Ramos. I think he is just too much. Lubin should have had a couple easy touches for confidence before he got back in the ring with anyone at the top. He did have one fight, and I think he won by stoppage. I don't know, but he did have one fight after the Fundora fight and got a win. But yeah, maybe a couple more as well.
Is he still with Cunningham?
Yes, he's still with Cunningham. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. That's why Judah was going to go for him originally. It's STL, right?
What's the over under 100? What's the over under on how many curses Cunningham's going to use in the corner?
I say 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah. Josh Sanders says Ramos 7-round stoppage, respectfully. All right. So it's unanimous here. And that's pretty much the card. I don't know who Frank Sanchez is really fighting. He's on the preliminary. He's not even on the pay-per-view card, so that's probably because of the opponent. But I'm excited to see what he does next. I want to see him in there with somebody, relevant, somebody that's good. He's not getting any younger.
Yeah, you would think they would put him in there with somebody relevant after he went out there and beat F.A. Ajaba.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm like,
right. I've never seen
why is he going backwards?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Like, he beat F.A. Ajaba, but you giving him somebody that's not on that level. You sending him back.
Yeah, the guy's 17-5 with 2 draws. If I saw that correctly.
I want to know who's Frank Sanchez's manager, because that's I'm like, no, what are you doing with him? We already know that he ain't 29, so you can run with that all you want to.
Yeah.
Father Time don't hide from nobody, so you could say he's 29, but he gonna be an old 32-year-old.
So that would wrap it up for the card. I'm going to talk about some other things in boxing. There's some couple fights that are coming up that were signed and some taking place. Yeah. We could start off with the big one, I guess, right? The Undisputed that supposedly signed today. That is Tyson Fury taking on Usyk. Supposedly, they're talking about December 23rd, was it? I think that was the date I saw. I know it was late December, and then they said maybe early January. What do you guys think?
Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia.
I don't know.
You don't know. Kiko, I don't know, Judah, you have anything to say, but I know you like both of these guys. You know, what do you think about this fight?
I still feel the only guy that can beat Tyson Fury is the man in the mirror. I think Tyson Fury, when he's focused, when he's not doing blow, when he's not, throwing down a few Guinnesses, ain't nobody beating him. He needs to be occupied, right? So he's got the Ngannou fight in a few weeks, and then about a month and a half later, he's got the Undisputed title. I just think Usyk is too small. But then again, everybody's too small, right? Pause. You know, I mean, Tyson Fury is a problem, right? Until proven otherwise. So I like Usyk. I think Usyk has had a great career. I don't want to use the Dubois fight as like some sort of barometer. I think yeah, he got dropped and he probably took advantage of a low blow that really wasn't, but he still made Dubois quit. But I just think Fury's that good. I think a focused Fury beats everybody, in my opinion.
I'm not going to make any prediction on the fight, but I will say this, and you say the word focused. Right now, if they fight in December, he has a fight, I believe it's October 28th against, it's an exhibition against Francis Ngannou, right? That he's supposed to win that fight, an MMA fighter against a boxer. But the pictures of what Tyson Fury looks now does not look good. He looks very sloppy. He looks overweight. Now, maybe against Francis, that may work. But after that fight, barring no cuts, nothing crazy, no big shots landed by Francis, is he going to be prepared in less than 2 months to fight Usyk if it's in December?
He's going to turn it on?
Is he going to lose that weight? Is he going to come in? Because at the press conference a couple of weeks ago, he looked terrible. He can't look like that versus Usyk. I don't care how good you think he is.
Oh no,
I don't think he could come in looking like that. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see until after the Francis fight and see how he looks in an exhibition, because obviously he's doing it for the money. They're paying him a lot of money. Francis is getting paid a lot of money too. God bless Francis, because they don't get paid in the UFC. So I'm happy that he's gonna get paid and he's gonna make this nice payday. But let's see what happens. And I think Francis is coming to win. Francis is not coming, to get beat up. I think he's going to try to land something. I think he's going to go in there and try to hook with him. And you never know. So let's see what happens first, and we've seen Fury pull out of fights and delay fights before. So, let's see what happens.
Point. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to touch up on that. We have other fights.
That's probably what Fury would do if the fight is official for December. He'll find a way to delay it so he can get himself back in shape.
Yeah. So, or maybe get the coke out of his system, right, Sock?
Right.
Hey, man.
Another fight announced that I saw David Benavidez against against Andrade. That's the other fight. Benavidez against Andrade.
Boo-boo?
Yeah, Boo Boo.
Is there a date?
And there's Jermell versus Jose Benavidez.
Jose Benavidez, yeah. That's
on the same card.
The same card, yeah. What date is it? It's in November, right?
He's a bum.
It's like the 24th.
Jose Benavidez is a burger.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, Jose is a bum.
He's a burger.
Yeah.
He's a Wendy's special.
Yeah, double stack.
Yeah.
It's a tune-up for Jermell coming back.
Yeah, it's a good tune-up. And Jose moving up again in weight, because his last fight was against Danny Garcia at 154, and now he's moving up again to fight Jermell at 160, I believe.
Is that before Christmas?
I think they said November.
Good for Benavidez. Yeah. His kid's going to have a nice Christmas. I hope they get the new PlayStation and Xbox, whatever's coming out.
Yeah.
The payday fight.
I think Benavidez is going to beat Boo Boo. I didn't like how Boo Boo looked in his first fight at 168. He looked like trash to me. And I actually had Damon Nichols on the live the day after the fight, and what he told me was, he was like, Boo Boo can't punch. He said the man can't punch. He said, I've been hit by harder guys than him. He's like, I wasn't hurt at no time in that fight. He got dropped. He said it was more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got dropped.
He said it was more so that he was off balance. He said he didn't get hurt in the fight. He was like, I was more so off balance. He said he caught me with a good shot, but I was more so off balance. Mm-hmm. So, even if you take that fight out, I just don't think that Boo Boo at this point in time. I don't think that Boo Boo can beat David Benavidez. Maybe if they would have fought a couple of years ago, he might would have had a chance to beat him. I don't think he could beat him right now because David Benavidez has more experience. He's been in there with tougher fighters. At this point, he just got finished fighting Caleb Plant, who's another boxer that moves around the ring, and he was able to eventually catch Caleb Plant and beat him. So I don't think Boo Boo's gonna win. And Boo Boo having another layoff because he hasn't fought since the Damon Nichols fight. So he is another long layoff.
I just think that Boo Boo over the last 2-3 years has gotten slower and slower as he's gone up in weight. He's not the same. I liked Boo Boo years ago, and I thought Boo Boo was, one of the best fighters in the world. And I wanted to see him fight Canelo, and I thought that would have been a great fight. But this is like 7 years ago, right? I just don't see Boo Boo beating David. I think he's gotten slower and slower. And then with the time off, I just think he's more sluggish than anything. And I think he's exchanging more. He's trying to throw bigger shots. And I just think David Benavidez is just a bad matchup for him. I'm happy that he's finally going to get like his biggest fight, but it's also most likely going to be his first loss. And I think it's going to be a bad loss. I hope I'm wrong because I like Boo Boo. I generally like Boo Boo. And but I just don't see it. I just don't see him having a shot in this fight.
It's gonna be nasty for Demetrius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
And the stipulations to this fight is the winner is a mandatory for the winner of Jermell and Canelo.
Yeah.
And if the winner of Jermell and Canelo don't fight them, they get stripped.
Yeah.
So that fight is going to happen, or somebody going to lose their belt.
I think that's what Suleiman said that, right?
Suleiman came out and said that
today or yesterday. He said
he came out and said that
by March, if he doesn't, he's got to do something by March or something like that.
The only way that fight gets pushed back is if they have a rematch. If Canelo loses because they have an automatic rematch, that's the only way that the fight get pushed back. Other than that, if Canelo wins, he has to fight the winner of Demetrius and David Benavidez.
Yeah. Sock?
At 54, I thought Demetrius was the best 54 in the world. I just thought that just stylistically, his reach, his quickness, he was just about. There was no one at 54 that could have beaten him. As he's put on the weight, I agree with you. He's gotten slow. He has not looked great in a while. Benavidez is a beast, right? He's a beast. Obviously, like you said, D Free. There's going to be no fear in Benavidez in terms of Andrade's punching power. Andrade's going to have to fight a boring fight in order to win. He could probably do that for about 5 or 6 rounds, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that for 12 rounds. So, right now, I'd have to pick Benavidez late. I can see him stopping Boo Boo.
Yeah,
I really do, because I don't think Demetrius has anything to keep him off him.
Yeah.
Especially at 68, although he's physically a big guy. I mean, he's 6'2".
Yeah.
Maybe 6'2".
But I just think he's a lot slower now, and
the mileage.
And every fight I've seen him in the past 2 or 3 years, he looks slower and slower and a little bit more sluggish. And obviously he's moved up in weight too.
Mm-hmm. So, and we definitely don't want to hear him freestyle.
And then I'll go to the last fight. Jermell Charlo is going to fight Jose Benavidez. Sock not interested at all. Jose, I mean, it's a good tune-up, right, for Jermell?
Why is he not fighting Caleb Plant, the guy that snuffed him?
They actually are supposed to be fighting after this.
Nobody wants to see that after.
Yeah, nobody wants to see Jose Benavidez right now, in my opinion.
I mean, they're looking at the fact that Jamal's been out of the ring for 2 years, so they giving him a tune-up to get the rust off, and then they want to make it a more intriguing fight of fighting Caleb Plant. They don't want Jermall coming off a 2-year layoff, and you got Jermall looking sluggish, and then past round 6, you got Caleb Plant looking sluggish. Now it looks like 2 heavyweight at middleweight fighting.
I can see that, but I think Caleb Plant already smacked some of the rust off of.
Sock with the jokes today. Sock with the jokes.
Always. You know, to me that was a great promo. That was like Monday Night Raw. Okay, you got to clear the SmackDown.
I actually think if Jermall got his head on straight, I don't think Caleb Plant makes it 12 rounds.
I agree. I think he's more talented. You know, but I think Caleb Plant, man, come on, man. He got snuffed. I don't know how they call it in DC.
I mean, I'm just announcing the fights, and you know, and basically we're just announcing that it's a good tune-up, right? So
he tuned him up, all right.
I mean, nobody wants to see it. It's not a main event, Sock. It's not. It's an undercard, bro.
I think it's a co-main.
All right, well, that's kind of bad.
I think it's a co-main. But the thing is, Benavidez get hits too much.
He's true.
That man get hit way too much. I'm like, okay, I saw what you look like when you fought Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia is nowhere near the puncher or fighter as Jermell Charlo.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's a guy that he's a welterweight.
Yeah, he's gonna get stopped.
Yeah, if he doesn't, if Jermall doesn't stop Benavidez, then there's something wrong with Jermall.
Yeah,
he should. I mean, we were there for that fight with Danny Garcia. That was
cement shoes.
That wasn't the most entertaining fight.
Yeah, Jermall gonna stop.
Jose hasn't looked good since he lost to Crawford.
He didn't look good pretty much before that neither.
Yeah, but I mean, he looked good in the Crawford fight. I mean, he gave Crawford a tough fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, he ain't looked good since the gunshot.
Pretty much.
The gunshot. He ain't looked good since then. But I mean, like I said, I understand they trying to give him a tune-up fight.
Yeah.
And it's the co-main on the Benavidez fight. So I guess, I mean, at least we get to see Jermall back in the ring.
Yeah. And let's see what he got. You know, he's been off a long time, you know, and he's still the champion, right? I mean, they haven't stripped him the title, which is nuts.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted him to get stripped, but at 160, who is there to strip the title for?
Adames, I guess. Who I think is very overrated. Carlos
somebody else should at least had a chance to fight for the title until he came back. Because
I don't even think there's nobody in position to be the mandatory.
The middleweight division sucks right now.
Yeah, it's
trash.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, Jermell Charlo is the money man at 160. He's the money man at 160 if you think about it.
What happened to Lara? Lara hasn't fought in forever. I thought he was supposed
to fight Danny.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Danny. That fight got called off.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to fight at 160, I believe, but
yeah, they were supposed to be fighting. They were supposed to be fighting at 160 for Lara's belt, though.
Yeah, and they could fight now because it looks like Charlo, because they both had the same trainer, so it looks like Charlo's now training with Roy Jones, and Lara's trained by Shields, right?
No, actually, well, Charlo still is trained by Ronnie Shields.
Okay,
he was just working out with Roy Jones. He's still trained by Ronnie Shields. He was just working out with Roy Jones because I think Ronnie Shields was working. He was training. He was getting somebody ready for. No, it wasn't.
It was recent. He had somebody recently.
Yeah, he was just training somebody. Who was it that he just got finished training? I'm trying to think of everybody that's his fighter. I know it's Morrell. I know Morrell is somebody recent.
I felt like he fought like a couple weeks ago. He was working with Walsh too, right? Was he working with Ali Walsh for a while? But I don't think he still worked with him.
Was he? I think so, Tommy.
I think he was working with Ali Walsh.
It was somebody. It was somebody I seen him with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
recent.
remember who it is. But yeah, so Jermell is still with Ronnie Shields. He hasn't left Ronnie Shields. He was just working out with Roy Jones. I mean, Roy Jones shouldn't be nobody training after what we saw happen with Eubanks and the young guy, Michael, the young guy that ended up getting it, that was supposed to fight Adrian Bone and got his jaw broken.
Oh, Mike Williams, right?
Michael Williams, yeah.
Michael Williams, yeah. And then he was working with Pascal too, right? He was working with Pascal for a while.
Yeah. Well, Roy Jones shouldn't be training nobody. He should be doing exactly what he's doing, giving pointers. They don't need to be training nobody.
Who is this? He said, "Oh no, wait, time out. Who is this?" He said Roy Jones' whole career he was on steroids. You got, come on. Who is this? I don't know who that is. He said, Ali Walsh is working with Sugar Hill. Okay.
Yeah, Sugar Hill was working with Ali Walsh. Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah,
but I can't remember. I know I seen Ronnie Shields with somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was.
It was recent. I want to say it was like a couple weeks ago, but
yeah.
So Tom,
yes, sir.
Can we do official predictions on the main event, and then let's do a little recap on what happened last week with a couple of
with football or
no.
He's talking about the sleepy giant.
Why am I lost here?
Well, Joe Joyce, the sleepy giant.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. All
right,
so
I think Canelo Charlo to bed.
Yeah, so I'm picking, even though I'm betting on Jermell, but that's only because I'm trying to get a come up, and I did my bets earlier on. You have to rewind it if you didn't see it, but I'm picking Canelo to win in a split decision tomorrow. That's my prediction.
Okay. D Free.
I'm going with Canelo a slight win. He's going to win probably 7-5 because of the politics.
Okay. Judah Ben.
I'm going with Mel. Just I got Mel for the win, period. Whether it's knockout, decision, or whatever. I got Mel.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with Canelo. I say Canelo round 10. Stoppage.
Okay.
Last week, Zhang, the baddest man from China since Bruce Lee. Talk to me. He's 40 years old. He found that Ponce de Leon juice.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think Zhang,
Luis Ortiz ASAP.
I think Zhang is a solid fighter, and the way the heavyweight division is now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's at the right place at the right time. And I always thought Joyce was a little bit overrated. I really didn't think Joyce was anything special, you know, except a big guy that can punch, you know, because I've seen Joyce, you know, he was losing against Dubois before he hurt him, you know, and I don't know. And then Zhang, I thought Zhang beat Herkovic and he got robbed.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? But listen, he's got the momentum behind him now. There's 2 big wins over Joyce. He's now, I believe, the WBO mandatory, right? Or he's ranked number 1 in the WBO. Let's get him in a fight against, you know, somebody relevant again. You know, I like to see him fight Wilder. Why not?
They trying to make Eddie Hearn trying to make that with AJ.
Yeah, or fight AJ. That's a good fight.
Wow,
you know,
that's a good fight.
I'll pay to see it.
That ain't gonna be no good fight. AJ gonna be sitting there sleeping right beside Joe Joyce.
I mean, all right, for name recognition, it's a good fight for name recognition. But yeah, yeah.
Now, I mean, so. I knew Zane was going to stop Joe Joyce again. I just didn't know it was going to be that soon, and I didn't know it was going to be in that fashion. I thought it was going to be similar to what happened before. He was going to get beat up, and they were going to end up throwing the towel in. I didn't know that he was going to catch him the way he did, because the one thing that everybody always say is Joe Joyce got a chin, and
durable.
We see that his chin is not as good as we thought it was, because Zane caught him on the button and it was lights out. He went to sleep. He fell hard. He fell hard
with an overhand right. That's crazy.
I mean, I was never really high on Joe Joyce because he is so slow. He got to be the slowest heavyweight in the history of boxing. I've never seen a fighter that slow.
So
And
robotic.
I'm like, I hear people say, "Oh, Joe Joyce overwhelms you." Who? The damn turtle? Because I don't know nobody as slow as him.
Yeah, agree.
I mean, because what what I want to see for Joe Joyce? This is the exact fight that I want to see Joe Joyce. I want to see him and Daniel Dubois in a rematch. Both of them coming off a knockout loss. Daniel Dubois had the eye problem. Joe Joyce had an eye problem. They both came off a knockout loss. So I want to see what happens in the rematch.
I think that'll be intriguing. They both in the UK. Why not?
I
I don't think Dubois' head is straight, to be honest. I don't, I hear him speak. I don't think he's, I hate to say it, but I don't think he's all there upstairs, to be honest. But
Is Zhang the third best heavyweight in the world?
it's hard to tell. I mean, right now he's got the momentum. I mean,
I think so. I'm going to do a Judah Ben. I'm jumping out the window. He's the third best heavyweight in the world right now.
and why is that? Why is that? Because I'm a segue to your boy right now. Why? What's one of the reasons why?
I think he's improving with every fight. I think he's working with Sean George, and I think he's fighting with a lot of confidence. I mean, I think that he sits back and sees how how everything falls into place after the unification fight, and does it mean that he gets the winner? No, but I think he's competitive against any one of those two.
I believe so. I think he'll be competitive with anybody in the top 5 right now. I think he'd be competitive with the 2 champions, right?
What are our top 5? Forget the rankings. Fury, Usyk,
Wilder, AJ.
Wilder,
Ruiz.
Can't forget
AJ.
about Ruiz.
AJ, then Louise.
AJ, then Ruiz, and then honorary mention would have to be, Jared Anderson, right? Because they're building him. He's got to be kind of like an honorary mention.
I won't put him in the top 5. He's in the top 10. I won't put him in the top 5.
Yeah, I have him 6. I think number 6. I did honorary mention number 6. I mean, he beat a former champion. I know he's not the greatest champion in the world, but he got a win over Charles Martin. He's beating a former world champion.
In a good fight. Charles Martin gave a good accounting.
And he gave a good fight. So, but those would be 6. He's fighting soon too. I think he's signed to fight someone.
I don't know who wins between Big Baby and Zhang. I don't know who wins that fight.
That's a tough fight. Yeah, I don't know who wins either.
I actually think Zhang might stop Big Baby. I think Zhang might stop him.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that I will say about Zhang, now he has been knocked out, but that was in the amateurs. He hasn't been knocked out in the pros. Zhang can take a punch.
He's stopping I think in the Olympics or in the World Games.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But he could take a punch because I saw Herkovich where everybody said Herkovich got all this power. He was taking everything Herkovich could throw.
And giving back.
Yeah. And even in the first fight with Joe Joyce caught him with a couple of big shots and he took those with no problem. And he kept targeting that eye.
Yeah.
And eventually Joe Joyce had to wave the white flag.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I see holes in Big Baby's defense. And the one thing that I will say that I didn't know that Zhang knew how to do was box. I didn't know Zhang knew how to box. I mean, it could be the fact because Joe Joyce is so slow, but I mean, he looked good. He looked like he was quick and he had some boxing abilities.
Well, that pays homage to his trainer. His trainer was a former fighter. We're trying to get his trainer to come on the show. I don't know what happened. He was supposed to come on a couple weeks ago, but obviously the fight. We had him lined up to come in on a Monday, but we're trying to get him here. Sean George, he's from New York. He's from Brooklyn. He's a former lightweight contender. He was the last guy to stop Chris Bird, right? So I mean, and he's got an interesting story. So, what's up?
Richardson Hitchens.
I think he's
A one-sided win against former world title challenger Cepeda. Talk to me.
He fight at 140. Richardson Hitchens, he's coming along. I don't think he's ready for none of the top guys, but he's coming along.
yeah.
I didn't think he was going to beat Cepeda so easily.
Me neither.
Cepeda, I think after round 2, I can see he couldn't pull the trigger. You know, so the only chink in Hitchens' armor, he's not a big puncher, but he's got great range, good footwork, and I think he's going to be really. He's definitely a challenge for a title, but I was really impressed by Hitchens. My hat's off.
Yeah,
I think he's the future.
That's the thing that worries me about Hitchens. He's not a big puncher, and those guys that has the title right now, all of them, even Rowley, they all are big punchers.
Yeah.
So if you with those guys, if you're not a big puncher, you're not going to be able to keep them away from you. So that's the thing that worries me with him. And then those guys that's right below the champions, a lot of those guys are big punchers as well.
Him and Russell, I think is a great fight. I don't know where they are in the rankings as far as sanctioning bodies, but I think
It's
those
a good
are
fight.
guys that are on the same level. I would love to see them fight.
It's a good fight. I think Antoine will end up stopping him because Hitchens is not a big puncher. Because he's not a big puncher.
It's possible, but I think Richardson fights very disciplined, and there's something about him. You know, like he performs when the lights are on.
Mhm.
He's a little older, you know, so I think I like what I see in Hitchens. We have let me see. So we have Prograis and Devin Haney is set. There's a date set. Talk to me.
That's a good fight. What's crazy, the last I saw, I haven't looked at it. I think I looked at it last week because I was on the radio, or you was on the radio, and they were going over the odds. It was either last week or before. But Haney was a 3-1 favorite coming up in weight to fight Regis Prograis. Haney was a -300
At home, right? It's going to be in San Francisco.
It's going to be in San Francisco against the champion Regis Prograis, which to me says a lot of things. Like, you know, these odds, sometimes they throw these odds out to trick you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like anybody would be like, wow, Haney coming up in weight. You know, yes, he's the undisputed champion at 135, but he's fighting a guy, Regis, who's one loss, who's got big knockout power. Regis didn't look good his last fight. Regis was fighting at home. Maybe the pressure got to him. That's why he didn't look as good. You know what? He's a 3-1 underdog. I like these odds. Let me take money on Regis, and then what happens? He might get shut out 12-0, right? So, like, it's a very interesting fight. I'm shocked that the lines are the way they are, but like I said, Vegas throws these things out there to trick you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They know more than we do somehow.
The thing that worries me in this fight is Devin Haney has all the tools to outbox Regis Prograis. The thing that worries me is because Devin Haney moves so much in the later rounds, he slows down and he tends to get hit a lot more. And I don't know if he's going to be able to stand up to Regis's punches, because we saw what happened when he got hit with Linares.
Yeah.
And I don't think Linares, I mean, I know he's not on the same level as a Regis at this point in his career. He's not on the same level. And Linares, I don't know if he's a bigger puncher than Regis, but he might be just as big as Regis. And if Linares could do that, I think Regis, if he lands that shot, I think Regis actually gets Devin Haney out of there. I don't think Devin Haney makes it through the next round. I think he gets him out of there. So that's the thing that worries me, because he slows down, because he moves so much in the earlier rounds. Even in the Cambosa fight, when he fought him the first time, he was winning. He won. I think I gave him every round, but in the later rounds, Cambosa was able to catch up to him because he moves so much. He slows down in the later round. So Kambosos started landing shots on him, but it was just a little bit too late. And then in the second fight, it was just an all-out brawl. Devin Haney just beat up Kambosos because he realized Kambosos can't punch. Kambosos realized Devin Haney can't punch, and they were just going for blow. But that's the thing that worries me because he slows down in the later rounds. I don't know if he's going to be able to withstand the punching power with Regis Prograis.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like Haney's got to fight.
You got a troll in the chat.
I don't know if it's a troll or he's just being funny, but I don't want to knock him out. I think it's funny.
Salute to the trolls. We need trolls.
I don't know. It could be just
we need trolls in the world.
We really do. I think
Devin does expend a lot of energy.
Yeah, I like both fighters. The odds tell me a lot. I'm going to pick Haney to win and defeat Prograis in a unanimous decision. But time will tell. Let's see as the fight gets closer. How they look. Haney moving up in weight, filling the body up a little bit more because obviously I think he was struggling to make 135. So but I don't really want to make. I made a prediction, but I'm not going to stick with it. Let's see how they look.
We got a lot of time.
When we get closer to the fight.
We won't hold you to it.
Yeah, Judah, you still with us?
Yeah.
I don't know. You have anything to say about this?
About the Regis Prograis and Devin Haney?
Yes, sir.
I mean, this Regis is probably the most this is the fighter he's fought with the most knockouts, right? Devin Haney.
No. Linares. Linares was.
Okay.
Linares. Yeah, Linares had more knockouts than Devin Haney had wins.
But I mean, I'm leaning more towards Regis Prograis, being he's been at the weight longer. He got more experience at that weight class. Regis just explosive, son. Like I don't really see Devin Haney coming in there, and I mean, it's possible Devin can go in there and shut him out all 12, but Devin gonna have to show me.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think
I'm not saying he can't do it, but just prove it. You know what I mean? That's all. Prove it.
Here's William Old School. Obviously, he's from Louisiana. He's rooted for the hometown guy. He's rooted for Regis. He says, look, Correa had some power which hurt Regis in the beginning of the fight. Haney doesn't have enough power to keep Regis off him. And if Regis cuts off the ring, it's over. That's a very fair point, and I agree with that. I very much agree with that.
That was the problem that Regis had in the Zilla fight. He couldn't cut the ring off.
And then on top of that, Regis is a southpaw. We've seen Devin had problems with a southpaw a few months ago.
Yeah.
Well, and when he fought Jojo Diaz landed, some good shots on.
He landed that straight left the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that fight was. Haney won the fight clear, but Diaz won some rounds in that fight. And he landed some good shots. Jojo not really the biggest of punchers, so yeah, that's a very good point. All right, well, we've been talking boxing for an hour 45. We got to do our picks because that's
big night in boxing. So
it's a big weekend of boxing. Big fight tomorrow. I think fight of the year type fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we got to get to these football picks. I'm
throw that background, Tom.
Huh?
Throw up that background.
Hold on one second. This guy's fucking sock, bro.
In the league where they play.
Hold on, I put the wrong thing. Sorry. Let's put it right here. You're not gonna really see it because we got 4 of us here. Can I make it smaller? Hey, yo. No, I can't. So no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's the best I can do, Sock. I'm sorry. So anyway, so we got our picks. I know, Judah, you're not involved, but you could give some input on football. I know you're not really a big football guy. But cool. Last week, D3 was in first place, and I believe he still will be in first place. Yeah, D3, you was in first place going into week 4. And you was going into the week, you was 4-2 because we had 6 games. Wait, am I doing this right? Yeah, because we're going into week 4, so going into week 3. You was 4-2 Last week you went 1-2. You took the Chiefs. You hit with the Chiefs minus 12.5, but you also took the Vikings minus 1.5. They lost outright, and you also took them boys. They were minus 12.5, and they lost outright. Them boys
To the Arizona Cardinals.
to the Arizona Cardinals, which you don't mind that because you are a Commanders fan and you don't like the Cowboys.
I told y'all.
I went 1-2, which will bring my record to 4-5. I'm now 4-5. I went 1-2. I hit with my team, the Seattle Seahawks. They covered. They beat the Carolina Panthers. I also took the Ravens minus 8.5. They lost outright. And I was one of the guys in the world, other than the Washington fans, that took the Commanders plus 6.5 to the Bills, and they got embarrassed by 30. Sock was in last place. Sock was 1-5, I believe, going into last week, and Sock went a clean sweep. Sock with the clean sweep last week.
Back it. Okay.
Give it to Barry Horowitz, the clean sweep. Oh, hold it.
That's it. 3-0.
Sock went 3-0 last week. Hold on. Sock went 3-0. He took the Eagles minus 4.5, the Lions minus 3, and he took Buffalo minus 6.5. So as we have it right now, D Free is in first place with a record of 5-4. Me and Sock tied in second with a record of 4-5. And I guess I'm gonna try to get it on the screen real quick. YouTube the StreamYard is bugging, so I'm gonna put the odds in a minute. I don't know who should go first. I guess we could let D Free go first. He's still in first place, right? And he'll pick first. I'll let Sock go second since he had the better week, and I'll go last because I haven't done well even on my regular pick'ems. So.
You're not doing so bad. I mean, you lost with the Packers.
I took the Packers yesterday.
Wow.
Fucking Packers, bro.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I changed my pick before the game started. I picked the line.
My life stinks, man. Those fucking Packers stink, bro. All right.
T tried to talk me out of changing my pick. He was like, "You gonna be mad if the Packers win?" I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna go." I told you. Every time they do that daggone one-on-one interview, that team will always play bad. And they did a one-on-one interview with Jordan Love, and he played horrible until the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah, and then he threw a pick like in the fourth quarter too, so he didn't play all that.
The last drive, he threw a pick.
Yeah. So, D Free, you go first. You let me know if you want me to scroll to the next slide. There's about 5 slides of 3 games each, so we can see the lines. If you want me to go to a particular game, I'll go to it right away, and then you can look at the line.
The first game I'm going with is my Commanders plus 9.5. I'm taking the Commanders plus the 9.5.
Hold on 1 second, and it's. Well, I thought I just had it. What the hell? Oh, here we go. Yep, Commanders plus 9.5. D Free is a Commanders fan, and he's going with his team. Last year, the Commanders beat the Eagles at Philly, correct?
Yep.
So he's going with the Commanders. Let me just write this down. I'll post it in the community page as well. Okay. Sock, any game you want me to go to?
I'm going with a road underdog. I like the Dolphins to beat the Bills outright. They are 2.5-point underdogs. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. I think they're on a roll.
Okay.
We'll put some jelly on them.
I'll go for 2. Before that, let me just put this on the screen real quick. Let's talk about how Thomas jinxed my Saints. He cost me my quarterback. William, I didn't jinx anything. Everybody on the panel picked.
Who are they?
Who did the Saints lose to? Damn.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I still got the picks.
Who did they played?
They played the Packers.
They played the Packers.
They played the Packers, and they were
busting them. And then my man Derek Carr got hurt.
Yeah. So, and I didn't jinx them. And everybody picked the.
No. They played the Titans. They played the Titans.
The Titans. Everybody picked the Titans, and I was in last place. So I was like, this is a good game. to maybe pick up some ground, and I picked against them.
Wait, no,
last
week. No, the Saints played the Packers.
They played the Packers, yeah.
They lost 18-17.
Was I looking at the week before last?
Yeah, because we did the pick'ems. We did straight up wins and losses.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, it was the Packers, I believe.
Yeah, they were up 17-0.
Yeah, 17.
They did.
They gave up 18 points in the fourth quarter. I was the only one to pick the Packers because everybody picked the Saints. So I didn't try to jinx them. I listen, when we did our show, when D3 did a show before the season started, I had the Saints winning 11 games this year. I wasn't trying to jinx them, William. Come on, bro. This messed up, man. I got no hate. I'm just trying to catch up. And by the way, I was right because I was the only one to pick the Packers. So I'll take that W. Anyway, it's my go. I got to pick two games now. This week's a tough week.
It is.
But I'm going to try to find an easy one for my first pick. And there's nothing easy because we're going with the point spreads. So I'm going to go. Where is it? I'm gonna pick the road favorite because this team has not played well or looked good at all. They don't look good, and it's not what you think. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs by 9 over the New Jersey Jets.
Ooh,
because the Jets have not looked good offensively. KC is playing a lot better from the week one. The Jets defense is still solid, but when the Jets defense is always on the field after the offense goes 3 and out, they're going to tire, and the Chiefs are going to put up some points on them. So I like the Chiefs -9. The second game I am going to select.
Wait, hold on.
I'm going to go with
Jets and Chiefs is Sunday night, right?
Jets and Chiefs are Sunday night. Yes.
What's the over under? Oh, my man Chris Collinsworth saying, "Now here's a guy."
Now here's a guy. Mahomes. Here's a guy. I say about 70 because he says that about everybody. Collinsworth thinks every player in the NFL is great. Everybody he talks about is the greatest player he's ever seen.
That's my
Collinsworth.
guy.
I'm sick of Collinsworth. I know, Sock, you like Collinsworth. I don't.
Yep.
But here's a guy, right?
Here's a guy.
The second game I'm going to pick, surprise, surprise. I think the Cowboys are gonna beat the Patriots convincingly. I like the Cowboys -6 at home versus the Patriots. So I got Dallas -6 versus the Patriots. I think Dallas will win by 14 in this game. Easy at home. And then they got the big showdown with the 49ers, I believe, in week 5. Sock, you're up. Just tell me the game and I'll go to the line.
Okay. It is a very it's a tough week. I like the Jaguars riding the ship. They've kind of underachieved. I'm picking the Jaguars. They're at home. I got a 3-point favorite. It's a short commute, ATL in Jacksonville, but I'm picking Jacksonville.
Sock. This game is in the UK.
Oh, snap.
This game is not in Jacksonville. This game is
at 9:30 in the morning.
9:30 a.m. It's in the UK.
Oh, that's
in
right.
London.
That's the international series.
Yep.
Okay.
And the Jags have played there a few times already.
That's right. It's the Con Bowl, right? You know what? They're still playing. I'm going to stick with the Jags. I think that they have the better personnel.
Okay.
I'm going with the Jags.
Cool.
-3. Thank you for that correction.
D3, you up next. William, I'm going to get to that Saints game in a minute after, when it gets to my pick. But unless somebody else picks that game.
Hold on 1 second.
Let me know if you want me to move the slides. I can.
All right, hold up 1 second. I'm looking at something. Okay. Yeah, let me go. Go back one. One more.
Got you.
Give me the Vikings over the Panthers. They down again.
I know that one hurt. I was eyeing that one too.
And I got one more.
Yeah, Vikings minus 4.5 on the road against Carolina. It looks like Bryce Young will start that game from what I'm seeing. So
Carolina 0-3.
It's the battle of the
Vikings. Yeah, Vikings are 0-3. But if I had to choose who's going to win that game, it's going to be the Vikings. I think Vikings probably win that by at least a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And the next game I'm taking them damn Flying Fish minus 1.5.
The Flying Fish.
You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Mother.
Right there.
Them Dolphionos.
Monday night. Those Flying Fish.
Well, D-Free, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I like to talk about it. And I spoke about it already in my recap of last week on my video. The Seahawks favorite 1.5 versus the Giants at MetLife. I don't know if you guys know this. Maybe you do because I say it a lot.
I know they undefeated at MetLife.
They are undefeated at MetLife Stadium. Ever since that stadium was built, they have never lost. They beat the Jets. They beat the Giants multiple times. And they, of course, won their only Super Bowl at MetLife. Seattle is undefeated there, minus 1.5 at the New York Giants. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, so I take those Flying Fish minus 1.5.
Catfish. That's what they say. Instead of cursing, they yell catfish. The announcer there and one of the podcasts over there. Whenever they curse, they're like, "You catfish, mother of catfish." Sock, it is on you.
D-Free. There's nothing personal, just business, all right? I like the Eagles minus 9.
I'm very shocked you took this.
I'm glad you picked it because I know that's a loss for you.
I'm very shocked.
9.5. Wow.
9.5. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
27-17 covers 9.5, right?
Yes, it does.
I'm calling it.
27.
Okay.
I am D-Free. I don't know if you know this. We have mentioned this as well. We have a friend that is a big Eagles fan, and we love him as a person, but he's a dick. His name is Brett Ortiz. I don't give a damn if he's listening. I don't care if that's a guy. And he's a big Eagles fan. He talks a lot of shit, and we usually go against him just because he talks mad shit. And especially Sock and Brett, they go at it all the time in sports.
But this is Brett versus Gio.
This is Brett versus Gio. Gio is a Commanders fan as well. So So you're trying to tell me you're more anti-Gio than Brett?
No, I just think Philadelphia is playing really well right now.
Yeah, they was playing really well last year when they was 9-0 as well.
Say it with your chest. I was now it was either that or I was gonna play the homer role with the Raiders.
I'm glad you took it. Because I know that's a loss for you. Because this is the divisional game. This shit ain't gonna be no daggone 9-point swing. Well, they might, if they win, it's probably gonna be by a field goal. If they win, I think Washington might win outright. We just got our ass whooped last week. Yeah, we got some things we got to do.
Well,
and I'm gonna be playing my new song on Sunday right before the game come on.
What's that jam?
Speaking of being personal and going at people, that'll lead me to my next pick. And I'm sorry to do this. I am going to be taking the Los Angeles Chargers -5 against the Las Vegas Raiders.
We are hot mess. I can't blame you.
You know, Sock is a big Raiders fan.
Yep.
It was between this game and I was going to do this game for William, but I want to mention this game. So William obviously is a Saints fan, and he says his Saints won't win another game while Winston is at quarterback. You know, I disagree with that. Winston looked good before he got hurt a couple years ago. You know, he was looking real good, and he suffered that injury. I say give him a shot. I think the Saints are going to beat the Bucs at home. Kamara's coming back, right? Kamara's back too. I like the Saints in that game. If I didn't pick the Chargers, I probably would have picked the Saints here -3. I think the Saints are going to beat the Bucs. So I think you're going to see a win, William. I really do. I think they're the better team. I think they got the better defense. I think they got a better skill players. I know Tampa Bay is good offensively as well with their receivers. But Baker has always been a question mark. I like the Saints to beat. I like the Saints to beat the Bucs at home. With Kamara back. So I wouldn't. I wouldn't. He says I wouldn't count the Saints out. He says the Bucs will win 24-3. Jesus, God damn. Where's the faith in your team, bro? You really don't like Winston that much. Wowzers. Let me put everybody back on the screen real quick. So that's it. So we all got our picks. It's going to be cool. This is a tough week. It's a lot of good games. I mean,
I was about to take that 49ers game until I saw that joint say minus 14.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I saw what Arizona did to Dallas. I'm like, they
and that could be a trap game because next week is a big game. It's Dallas is playing San Francisco. That's a big game next week. So they may be looking ahead to that Dallas game. So that 14 is a lot of points to cover. So that
actually they might cover because they might beat up on Arizona to show Dallas, hey, we not y'all. We gonna cover.
By the way, where's my guy Knockout? I went in to see Knockout in his live the other day, but I didn't. I was nice. I didn't mention the Cowboys. He was talking.
I didn't mention it either.
Yeah, I didn't get at him.
He mentioned the Cowboys to me.
He did. Yeah, I didn't mention anything about football. I let him do his thing in boxing. He was talking. I think he was talking about Tank. I let him do his thing. I just said what's up, and I didn't mention the Cowboys. And look, I picked the Cowboys this week. So Knockout, if you're watching, I picked the Cowboys. All right. I hope they cover. Damn it. So. Yeah, that'll wrap it up. I know Judah don't really follow football as much because they took his team out of St. Louis and they're in LA now. You got to see a Super Bowl though.
I still hate the 99 2000 Rams squad.
Really?
Hell yeah.
How old were you then?
I was in middle school. I was 13.
13. Okay. Sock, you want to say something? You was waving.
Now we have to talk about last week. Notre Dame. OSU. I got another 3 letters.
Did he talk about Jameis Winston?
Yeah, because William Old School is a big Saints fan.
Jameis Winston has gotten trash.
But before he got hurt, he was playing well. I thought he was playing some of the best football of his career. And he got hurt. It was 2 years ago he got hurt, and then he didn't get a chance to get back on the team, in the starting lineup last year. But I like Winston. I mean, I let's see what he does. I think they're gonna win, and I think you're gonna like what you see out of Winston. But go ahead, Sock. Let's talk about our Irish.
You talk about a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, I don't want to sound like sour grapes, but I still think Notre Dame's a better team than Ohio State. They just lost.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think
was sickening.
Not only did they blow the game, I thought they left points points off the board. Like they
exactly
on the table. The first 2 drives of the game, they came up with 0 points. They couldn't even get 3 with the missed field goal. Those were good first drives. Now, and I don't want to blame the refs for anything because the refs had nothing to do with the outcome of this game. But that first drive, I was very disappointed in the overturn call for the first down because they never overturn or change the ruling on the field when it comes to yardage for a first down. That was crazy. It was called first down on the field, and you're telling me a replay, there was evidence to change the call to, first down the other way because he didn't make it. That to me was big. It wasn't a game changer because Notre Dame stopped Ohio State and Notre Dame drove again and then missed the field goal. But still, that was huge, man. But with that said, like they left points off the board. 10 players on the field the last 2 plays of the game, the drop interceptions in
Yes.
the last drive. I mean, the game was theirs for them to win. And now Notre Dame has to really win out. And things to fall in place for them to get into the playoffs. They got a tough game this week. They're on the road.
Duke.
They're playing a ranked Duke team, who I think they're better than that Duke team. And I think they need to make a statement, and they need to win convincingly. And then eventually,
I think my squad gonna blow Duke out.
I would hope so.
I think they're gonna blow Duke out. I think they are, and the coach are truly upset at how that game ended last week. I think they're gonna go out there and blow Duke out.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something like 35-10, something like that.
And this will show what Freeman's all about. Like good coaches keep your head on straight, right? And keep you focused to the next game. They don't let you, good coaches don't let you fall, back-to-back games, just because you had a disappointing outcome in one week and go to next week and lose, disgracefully, the following week. Good coaches don't let that happen. And I think this will show what Freeman is all about as a head coach. If he could get the team and dominate, like you say, against a good Duke team, a ranked Duke team on the road.
Yeah. That shit dropped. I mean, we only dropped 2 spaces.
Yeah.
I really believe we shouldn't have dropped at all because it was a last-second touchdown for them to win. I think we should have, if anything, kept our spot.
Yeah.
Because it was a last-second touchdown in order for them to win, and they was ranked higher than us. I think they was ranked number 6, and we was ranked number 9.
Yeah.
I think we should have kept our spot.
Yeah. I'm okay with it because it's all about now, win the rest of your games. The schedule's good, so they're there. And other teams have not looked that good. Florida State hasn't looked good. Florida State's ranked high. They haven't looked good. I feel like Georgia hasn't looked that good either. Right?
No.
Their
quarterback.
Georgia haven't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Judah.
No, I was just agreeing with Tommy. I was saying Georgia haven't looked that good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They haven't looked good.
Yeah, their quarterback play looks horrible this year.
They haven't looked, good against lesser competition. And then Florida State's another one. Florida State, they played a good Clemson team. Clemson couldn't close that game out. Clemson was winning the whole game.
Georgia plays Auburn, and they're 14.5 favorites at home. Auburn already has an L. They're 3-1.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, Thomas. With saying that, who you think is a favorite to win it all? Because nobody really looked like they're unstoppable. Who you got favorite to win it all?
I mean, you would have to think Michigan's one of the favorites based on their schedule, but because I think they only play 2 really good teams. I think they play Ohio State at the end, and I believe they play Penn State. I think the Ohio State game is in Ann Arbor. I think it's in Michigan. I'm not sure where the Penn State game is. Huh?
I think the Big Ten is not that strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they got a nice, clear way to get to the playoff. The Ohio State game is going to be the toughest game. Penn State, I believe, Penn State is a real good team too. They're ranked 7th, I believe. So that that's 2 games. But other than that, they really don't play anybody as good. The same as Ohio State, but Ohio State now got to win over Notre Dame, and then they play Michigan, and they also play Penn State as well. So Georgia, Georgia still got to get by Alabama. Alabama may not be as good, but they're still a good team. It's really, this is the year that there's really no dominant team where you say, you know what, this team is going to go undefeated and beat everybody. This is the year that I could see, 7 or 8 teams have a shot to win. William asked, what do you think about LSU this week? Who does LSU play this week?
LSU goes up against Ole Miss. Big game.
Big game. Ole Miss is a good team. I thought Ole Miss was going to beat Bama.
LSU is a 2.5 favorite on the road.
Yeah, this is a big game. Ole Miss is no pushover. Like I said, I thought Ole Miss was going to beat Bama last week, and Bama won.
LSU, their loss was without their best player, the defensive player, He's back. LSU has a lot of talent.
Yeah. But the thing with LSU is the coach.
Yep.
I don't like the coach. He doesn't make adjustments when he needs to, especially in the second half. So, but LSU is a good team, and LSU, they could run the table and they could be up there for discussion as well.
Speaking
That's
of
what I'm saying.
coaches,
It's really no dominant team.
speaking of coaches, who's the darling of the media world as far as coaching? The greatest cornerback in the history of the National Football League, Deion Sanders, and his Colorado Buffaloes are 21.5-point underdogs against USC.
And where's the game at? It's in Colorado?
Yeah.
They should be.
Yeah.
I mean, USC has the best player in the world. I mean, I'm sorry, in the country.
Yeah.
Caleb, right?
Caleb Williams.
Who's the lead guy for the Heisman. But, wow, 4 touchdowns at home?
I mean, Colorado is who we thought Colorado was. We knew Colorado was going to be better than last year. We didn't think they were going to be as good, but Colorado didn't really play anybody as strong. TCU was not the same TCU from last year.
Correct.
It was a totally different team. It was a big win to put them on the map. I love what Deion is doing. A lot of people are hating on Deion because of the way he's doing it, but he's doing it legit. From what I understand, he's doing it legit. You know what I'm saying? The transfer portal is a lot different now than what it used to be. That's why I think a lot of old school coaches hate on Deion because they didn't have, the same thing that Deion has now. So, but I don't think this team is that good yet. I think they're going to be national contenders eventually, maybe next year, the year after. But this year, it'd be good if they make a bowl game, if they could get 6 wins. But this year, surprisingly, the Pac-10 is good. Usually the Pac-10 is not good. The Pac-10 is really good this year. So
Yes,
I don't think they're going to beat USC. I think they'll be competitive early, but I think they get blown out again.
I could see something like 42-24, something like that.
Yeah, which that would cover the spread, right? So
Yeah, but I think Colorado could cover the spread.
yeah, I think it's going to be competitive early, and I think USC runs away with it. I just think USC is too good, and I don't think Colorado's at that level yet. But I think they're getting there, and I think eventually they will get there. I think Deion's doing it. I think Deion is great for college football, and I think what he's doing is great there. So.
And being part of the Irish Mafia, USC winning makes that game better down the road. When they play Notre Dame.
Yo, D3, you watching cartoons?
My grandson is on his phone, sitting right beside me.
That sounds like Ed and Eddie.
It does sound like Ed and Eddie. Go ahead, Sock. Sorry.
No, I mean, I want USC to keep winning games because that way when they play Notre Dame, it's a bigger game.
Yeah.
That's all.
My brother, he a huge Notre Dame fan. One of my older brothers.
Yeah. He was disappointed.
Guy.
He must have been pissed. Because I was. It's
Back
funny.
in the day,
As my wife was laughing at me. My wife was laughing at me during the game because she knows how I am. And salute to you, Oplin LD. Thanks for coming through. She was laughing at me because I'm very emotional when it comes to my teams. And when Notre Dame was up and it looked like they were going to win and I was getting hyped, I was like, yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it to myself. I kept sitting back there. I'm not going to do it. And she's laughing at me because usually I get fired. I was like, nah, because they do it to me all the time. They always break my heart. They always make me, look bad. And I'm just sitting back on the couch like, no, I'm not. And then when they lost, she heard silence. And she's like, she came out and said, let me guess, they lost. And I was like, the fuck you think?
Like Lucy and Charlie Brown, right? You know this bitch is gonna pull the football.
Exactly, man. That's a great analogy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was just my.
Well,
they got to win out. So it all starts with Duke tomorrow, and it's a night game. I believe it's 7:30, another night game. So we'll see what happens. But we've been on for a minute. We did some good boxing talk. We did our picks. We spoke about how the Irish broke our hearts.
Hey, yo, I've never liked Duke basketball or football. I never liked them niggas. Never. I always hated them.
Well, join the club because I never liked them in basketball either. I hated Duke. Always
because like that was my whole family's thing. Like my family hated Duke with a passion.
Everybody hated Duke unless he was on the wagon. Like we got some people here in New York, big Duke fans. Yeah, they.
Whoa, Joe.
D-Free, you got a college basketball team?
Duke.
Oh. Well, there's always one. One out of every
I like Duke and Maryland.
Okay, because
how you gonna like Duke and Maryland?
Because Maryland is my home team, but Duke has always been my favorite team because I was always a Coach K fan.
Fucking Coach K.
Coach K. Grant Hill, Christian Leitner.
Remember that old Sega game, Coach K?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers used to start fights over them games.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I never liked Duke. I hated Duke. I hate North Carolina. I
was always a Duke fan. And because royal blue is my favorite color, so I was always a Duke fan.
This guy right here, man. Where do you find this guy? Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. I my 4 teams that I hate: Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky.
I couldn't stand North Carolina
and UConn because I'm a Syracuse Orange fan.
I used to like UConn for a split moment. I liked UConn, and it was the year that they played against Maryland in the national championship. And I was a Maryland fan, but I was rooting for UConn because my cousin went there, Kevin Freeman. He went to UConn, and so I was rooting. Yeah, I was rooting for my
Catholic in Jersey.
Yeah, I was rooting for my cousin to get the national championship, but Maryland ended up beating UConn.
Oh, he went
to Patterson Catholic, same as Tim Thomas.
Yep. Yeah, Tim Thomas went to New Jersey.
Kevin Freeman. You still speak to him?
That was the year that Maryland had Johnny had Baxlin. He had what was the point guard name? Juan Dixon. They had Juan Dixon too, and they had I forgot who the point guard was.
Blake.
Yeah. That was the year that they won the national championship against UConn.
Yeah. Gary Williams,
UConn.
the coach.
Yep.
You still talk to Freeman?
Yeah, I still talk to him. He when he got out of college, he went overseas. He was playing ball overseas because he didn't get drafted, so he went to play ball overseas.
We need to get him on. Get that college basketball insight.
Yeah,
he's also related to the Russells. I don't know if I told you that he's related to Gary Russell and the Russells.
Okay,
he's cousin. Yeah.
Headbangers.
Yep.
Yeah. Sock, you don't really have a college basketball team anymore, right? You used to like
I fucks with St. John's.
St. John, but you used to like Syracuse back in the day.
I was a huge Cuse fan.
Yeah, and then you changed, and then you started liking the Johnnies.
Felipe Lopez,
Yeah, when Felipe went to St. John's, you started rocking with St. John's.
I know. I'm a old school college basketball fan, like 90s, early 2000s.
And what team you rock with?
I used to F with 99 Cincinnati with Brian Grant.
Danny Fortune?
I think so. Brian they had Brian Grant.
No.
They was
Brian
loaded.
Grant went to Xavier.
Kenyon Martin. They had Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin. Yes.
I want to say, did they have Bonzi Wells too?
Bonzi Wells went to Bowling Green.
Yeah.
But the coach was Bob Huggins.
But Cincinnati was loaded. And I used to F with the Michigan State squad with Mateen Cleaves when they won the championship.
Oh, Mateen Cleaves was good. Yeah.
Mateen
That was the point guard.
Yep.
Nigga Sock.
On respirate. They have Mo Peterson.
Michigan State.
Yeah, I was a huge college basketball fan. I mean, it's hard now because with the one and dones and the transfer portal.
We used to know everything about. We used to all the New York guys. We used to know all the players where they were going to back in the day, the mid '90s. Like,
because that's all my older brothers used to watch college basketball, college football. They was heavy on that shit, and they used to have me in the mix.
I'm excited for St. John's. Coach Patino.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's big. They, now maybe let's see what's up with St. John's. It's always good when St. John's is good. St. John's hasn't really been good for a while. So,
for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I know Sock rocks with St. John's, but he used to rock with Syracuse. When I first met Sock back in 6th grade, we both Syracuse. And that's when they lost the Richmond Spiders in the first round.
Billy Owens,
Coleman, Cycli, I believe, was on the team.
Coleman's already a pro. Autry.
No, Coleman, I think, was on the team when they lost to Richmond.
I don't know.
They had a squad and they lost.
I think Billy Owens and I think Donnell Autry.
Was it Autry or it wasn't Douglas?
Brian McRae. Not sure.
No, Brian McRae wasn't on that team. Brian McRae came later.
I mean, Conrad McRae.
I think he came later too.
He
not the team that lost to Richmond.
But Billy Owens was on that team.
Yeah, Billy Owens was on the team, but Billy Owens played on the same team with Derek Coleman.
Syracuse was the number 2 seed.
Yeah. It's the number 2, and Richmond Spiders were number 15 seed.
Crazy.
That was a big loss. Ronnie Cycli, I believe, was still on the team too. They had a squad. And I think the point guard was I want to say, was it Sherm Douglas? I
think Sherman was gone already.
He was gone?
I think the point guard was Darnell Autry.
No, I think Autry was later because isn't Autry the coach now?
That's a good point. Yeah,
I think Autry came a little bit later. But now it's funny because this is his first year. He's going to be the head coach of the Orange. So
great hire from the Bronx.
Yeah, that was a good hire. I like Red.
He paid his dues. He was assistant coach.
Yeah, Boeheim was there for a minute.
Nicholas a ton of time.
I wonder. You think they're still going to go to the traditional 2-3 zone?
Well,
I wonder. They should probably. I mean,
I think they will with maybe different looks. Is Boeheim's son still there?
I don't think so, but I got to look up. I haven't really
Gotta look it up.
I got to see. He could still be there. So
it sucks they went to the ACC.
Yeah, the Big East was better than the Big East, but they went for the money. William Old School likes his Louisiana teams, LSU, Tulane, and
the Green Wave.
Those are teams that usually make the tournament too. So, but yeah, guys, man, I appreciate you guys coming through, man. Tonight was great. We had some good talk. I was hoping to get somebody on today. Hopefully next week. Might have a couple guys on. We'll see what's up. We're looking at trying to get Sean George on as well. We have a couple guys looking to get on, but us four will do the trick. You know what I'm saying? Next Friday, same place, same time. We'll do a recap on tomorrow's fights. So the NFL, we'll have a bunch to talk about. So, but appreciate you guys coming through. Judah, good to see you back. He was hiding in a hole somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if you guys got any last words, we'll say them now, and then we'll end it, and then we'll see what's up. Oh, real quick, Sock, I want to do, promote Maelo every now and then on the channel as much as we can, and hopefully we'll get Maelo on. Maelo, we had on last week. He won his fight. We did an interview and he won his fight, and he's got a big fight coming up. He's going to be the main event November 9th. November 9th. It's on a Thursday. It's going to be on a UFC TV or something like that. I think Dana White is involved with this. Yeah, he's got a big fight. He's the main event against somebody. His name is last name Walsh, an Irish guy. Caleb Walsh. It's a big fight for him. Obviously, he's going against a big machine behind him, from what I hear. Sock, you know more than what I know. I get it from you, so maybe you want to speak about it.
I wasn't ready to bring it up right now, but November 9th, we got some time. It's the main event on the UFC Fight Pass card. It's billed under the fight card Hollywood Nights. The promoter is Tom Loeffler, who was the Klitschko's original promoter, and he also was Triple G's original promoter. Him and Dana White have a channel, UFC Fight Pass, and the main event in the theater, in the small room of MSG. Caleb Walsh, he's undefeated. He's 8-0, 7 knockouts against Ismael Villarreal, the fighter that I work with. He is 14-0, and it's a good fight. I'm excited. That's all I can say. When he fought last Wednesday, it was light work against an opponent that was expected to just stay busy fight, and I think it's going to be a really good fight. I give credit to Walsh and his team. I think they took a fight that was more difficult than they needed to take, and I look forward to it. I have a lot of faith in Villarreal. In all the full transparency, I'm not going to be partial. I'm 100% behind my guy, and we got a few weeks left. Yeah.
It's a big moment for him, for Maelo.
Yeah.
And it's he represents the Bronx, which is obviously that's where we're from, and I'm excited for him. We hope to have him on, but I hope to also promote him as well. Through you guys, if you guys can help promote the fight, we will be there live as well. We'll probably talk more about it next Friday as well. So we got some time between now and November 9th. So
there's another fight we forgot about. Shakur and De Los Santos.
Oh, that's right. That's in November as well, right?
November,
yeah. That's a good fight. We can talk about that next week.
Yeah, later. But that's another one. Boxing, they tend to make a lot of fights like late November because people want to get paid at the end of the year.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Christmas. So I hope we have a good main event tomorrow. Canelo and Charlo. I think it will deliver, and then we can talk about it next week.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I'll be posting in the community board of my channel. A lot of you already know D Free. He has his channel. He does good boxing content as well as football content. He's on during the week. They have a boxing podcast. I'll post that on my community page as well. Judah Ben is starting to do more content as well. He did a fight prediction as well. I put it on my community board as well. So I'll be sharing their channels as well. And then obviously, Sock comes on in the channel as well. Every Friday nights, maybe other days as well. And he brings, the special guest. Most of the guests that come on, pretty much all of them, are pretty much through Socrates. So, we thank Sock, we thank Judah, we thank D Free. If you guys don't have anything else to say, I'll end it. And we'll see y'all next week.
Appreciate you having me, man.
All right.
All right. Y'all be safe.
My brothers. Thank you.